Hello everybody, Average Gamer here. Welcome to just a quick little video on Franchise Hockey Manager 3 patch. So they released patch number 5, 3.3.109. According to them, this is going to be the last major update. As they're moving on apparently to Franchise Hockey Manager 4. Which to me seems a little early, but what can you do? If they're trying to make this a yearly thing, then I think they should tell everybody it's going to be a yearly thing. Because right now there's a lot of things I would like to see in Franchise Hockey Manager 3 to round it out and make it a more solid game. Now it has lots of really good options. It has lots of great things to it. I'm loving it. I'm having tons of fun with it. But I definitely would like to see the actual GM section a little flushed out a little more. Like, yeah, okay, I spend my XP on stuff, but I would like to see where it's affecting things, not just show that I'm spending points. I would like to see, hey, you can do a transfer for $40 or $40,000 on this guy, but just so you know, it would have cost, $60,000. But it, 60, we would like to, get whatever, then put in brackets, like, hey, we wouldn't mind selling you, so-and-so for $60,000, then put in brackets 120. So you're getting a 50% reduction in that. But, some sort of feedback, or even it just telling you're now going to get this much off on transfers, because you're that much better at negotiating, or, this, that, and everything else. The way it tells you now, it just says you get bonuses here, you get bonuses there, but it doesn't really tell you what the numbers are. So wouldn't mind some feedback there maybe. But then again, mods, right? Who knows what modders will be able to do. But according to them, this is also the largest one they've done. So there you go. They made some changes all over the place, so we're going to get into it. They've done a new system for determining starting goalies, which in my eyes is pretty good. They've added like a hot-cold system where you can actually tell, as a coach, you can decide whether you play your hot goalie or your cold goalie. You can tell them on a back-to-back, play each goalie. So play your hot goalie first, and then your backup second. You can tell them that, hey, play the goalie if he gets a shutout back-to-back. If the goalie does this, play him again. If he doesn't do that, if he does this, don't play him again. Back up, switch the goalies back and forth. And I like that. I like the ability that it kind of gives, internal ratings itself. Like you're prioritizing. Because now, big thing in the NHL right now is tandem goalie groups, right? Tandem goalie teams. Where the goalie that basically plays the best plays. For example, I think it's in Calgary. Was in Toronto last year. They did it with Bernier and Reimer. They were doing it in Calgary for a little while. They did it in a couple other teams in the last couple of years, all over the NHL, where basically they didn't have a true quote unquote number one goalie. So they would play the hot goalie. If the goalie wins, he plays again. Simple as that. If he gets a shutout, he plays again. If it's back-to-back and he wins, okay, well, maybe we'll throw in the other goalie. I like that. Now, mind you, I hope they kind of put this into, which is right here, bring it into the players as well. A hot-cold thing where the hotter a player gets, kind of like Patrick Kane was last year, where he was just hot and just scoring fucking all over the place. I hope they kind of bring in, I wish they would bring something like that into the player mechanic. So if a player himself is on a hot streak, he gets a little bit of a boost to his stats type thing. Because he's just playing that good, right? And then once he has like once he has that one cold game where he gets no points, boom, his hot streak is over type thing. So that's pretty good. Here is how they basically explain the way the heat system works. But basically, just to kind of break it down for you, basically it's on a range of 0 to 5, indicated by flame icons, 1 to 5, and obviously 0 being rare. I like that. I don't mind it. I don't exactly know where they're going to put it, so we're going to have to look at that when we go to play another game. Normal resting is 1, so I'm assuming 0 is cold. Goalies start each season with 0, and they need to play the exhibition games to warm up. Makes sense. For each game, all the goalies' goaltending. Oh, okay. Goaltending ratings are reduced slightly before a game. Okay. Then a random number is added to them. The upper bounds of this random number that can be selected are dependent on the goalie's heat rating. The hotter he is, the more chance of a larger number. And if it's cold, the number may be so low that it doesn't even reduce it. It doesn't even get the reduced ratings back to base level. Okay, so basically the way it works is everyone gets their stats reduced, which I don't understand then why we're going... Okay, so... Wait. What? So your goalie has his goalie stats. His stats then get reduced. And then get buffed again. Why not just put it... If he's 0, you put a negative. If it's a 1, they're normal. And then anything above 2, 3, 4, and 5, you just add a bonus to it. Okay. If it's cool, the number may be so low that it doesn't get the reduced settings back to the base level. So okay, so I'm assuming that they reduce it so that 0 is where they stay. If it's a 1, they're gonna probably be even. Like pretty much bump it back up to the way it is. And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 probably bump it up, but that's stupid. The way they're doing it. It's like why artificially reduce the number and then artificially inflate the number right after? So like just keep it and then see what the number, how many heat levels they have, and then just do the math that way. That kind of makes it easier. Heat adjustments can potentially reduce the effective star level of a cold goalie by up to roughly 2 stars. Okay. Well, one can potentially be raised by 2 or 3 stars, which is good. Okay. Bear in mind these are extremes where the random partition would be very unlucky or likely. So, if they have a 5-star rating, they could possibly go up 2 or 3. Probably 3 at the max. If they're cold, they can go down 2. So basically, that's if they max the numbers out. Okay. Events that lower heat rating in rough order, chances of decreasing are replacing. Wow. Events that can raise heat rating in rough order, chances of getting a shutout can increase it. Having a large number of saves in a game does it, yeah, and then winning a game. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you get 70 fucking saves in a game and you lose 3-1, that's still pretty good. Getting a shutout obviously would increase it, and winning the game obviously would increase it. That's pretty good. Events that can lower the heat rating to obviously getting replaced. So basically getting pulled. Giving up a large number of goals and losing. So basically it's the opposite. No big deal. He will also tend to decline if a goalie isn't playing regularly. Roughly 1 point per 3 to 4 games missed consecutively. Okay. So basically your number 1 goalie is, don't play him less than, or don't, if you play him, if he's out for more than 3 to 4 games, it lowers down, which makes sense. But then again, if you're not playing a goalie for 3 to 4 games in a row, he ain't hot anyways. Heat is lowered by 1 point, but not below 1 when the new season phase, exhibition, regular season, and playoffs begin, or when an international tournament the goalie is playing in begins. Okay. A hot goalie, which is realistic here, is a hot goalie may be good to go into the playoffs with, but that's not necessarily guaranteed. Just ask the Pittsburgh Penguins. They played with a hot goalie all season in Fleury, and then many years. International tournaments make the same thing, and he can only be raised and lowered by 1 point per game. So basically, he can go up to 5 in 5 games in a row. If they win, say you go on a 5-game win streak, I'm gonna theoretically think you can get at the 5 right off the hop. So in our league, it's really gonna hurt us. We'll see. Starting management. So now there's a new goalie starts tab on this the strategy screen. The settings control the priorities of the AI. Who your starting goalie is. Rating from 0, ignore the factor, to 4, to virtually important. Settings are the hottest goalie, best goalie ratings, alternative goalies in back-to-back games. Always start a goalie again after a shutout. Start the best goalie, backup start the frequency, and stick with the starter during the playoffs, which makes sense. Some of the categories are limited range at certain times. Example, backup start frequency can't go below 1 after 1965 or below 1 from prior to 1939. Makes sense. All AIs use these factors in their weighing. Okay. So basically, what you're doing is you're setting up you're prioritizing your goalies basically on what they're doing. So the hottest goalie basically always goes first. You also have the option of the best rated, the best rested, which would probably go with back-to-back goalies, right? Alternative and back-to-back. Always start a goalie again after shutout. Oh, that's pretty nice though. Now I wonder if, as the GM, you can do this if you have the coach's stuff checked off. There's a lockbox that prevents the AI from overriding these priorities. Otherwise, you'll choose them between the roster change inviting. Okay. New user can always override the AI starter choice by changing goalies from the pregame strategy screen. Okay. In summary, you can set up your very own, very specific. They're supposed to say priorities. For goalie use, so you're not dependent on the AI's cookie cutter choices. There's a new tactical system. The dot scale for player effectiveness in a tactical role has been replaced by a numerical 1 to 5. These still show the same information as before, although the scale for that was adjusted a bit, so the extreme ends are used more. Okay. Total tactical score for each tactic is now displayed on the top strategy screen. Okay. So basically, they just made it so it's a lot more easier to use, which is good. Other changes: to set your manager screen now includes offensive and physical preferences. Oh, boo! We don't have that. I don't think, unless we get it at the end of the year. League style stats leaders can be added for international tournaments. Team schedule now shows abbreviation of the result, WL, etc., just to the left of the store column. Okay, good. Full history screens added for all levels of national teams. Higher option. Okay. Awards now. If you don't get an award, Hall of Fame link. No big deal. Scouting reports are no longer mention the exact and occasional inaccurate number of scouting reports that have been updated. Yeah, thank you. Teams on the in-game screen now use the text color instead of the secondary color, so no more blue on blue for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Good. Loaded game text removed from the top menu. Okay, and right-click options for scouts now appear everywhere. Good. So a whole bunch of simulation rule changes. Holy crap. Change of historical setup. Retirements in historical mode with FHM development off will now be less frequent. Historical games at start. Newly generated players will now get their aging development rates calculated the same way and properly. Expiry system for NHL rights on NCAA players has now been correct. Player generation balance is a little bit better for Canadians. Basically more players in Ontario, which makes sense. Quality of player generation adjusted over several countries. Pre-72 historical teams will now be allowed to own the rights up to 75 players, which makes sense. There's only going to be 6 teams. Transfer cost benchmarks lowered slightly to get teams. Oh, boo. So after we bought all those guys, the prices just went down. Trading frequencies have been modified. Cole's preference for Canadians have been lowered. Historical finances adjusted, so teams are likely to run into lost or limiting budgets. Waiver exemption calculated in historical, so all players are no longer exempted. Some whole bug fixes. Holy crap. Second goalie injury pop-up will no longer happen. Game will no longer force goalie to be returned to the net if the strategy screen is entered while he's pulled. Possible crash in September. In 1st September. That is a big deal right there. That actually has stopped a lot of people from even playing the game and getting into the game. Missing incorrect names. Fixed crash when AI setup organization is used. Hiring staff via right click. Nice. GM of Great Britain can now select English players. Nationality problem when generated for fictional name. That actually caused me some problems. I was playing in a tournament. I got appointed the GM of the Japanese team, and we were playing against England, but we couldn't play against England, and we couldn't go up a day because England had no team. So it kind of bugged us out a little bit. Problem with some historical players not being generated at 17. Editing a player's contract after July 1st no longer results in the previous year's contract being visible. Teams that make the first round of the 74-70 playoffs will no longer get X on their playoffs in their history screen. Under 79-80. Oh. AI teams in historical games will... Wow, that's a lot of historical stuff. Players demand a contract renewal negotiations will no longer occasionally be blank. KHL trade and offer deadlines are no longer perpetually one season in the future. 91 dispersal draft results are no longer mixed into the entry draft history for that year. Attempt at clicking on retired players on team transaction histories will no longer result in a crash. Reject option for juniors. Yeah, users will no longer get 3 to 4 news stories from the international. Yeah, good to go. I want to know if there's anything here for transfers. League player sets will no longer go blank. X had a good game. Yeah. Prematurely go into the penalty box and serve their minor. That's a good thing. Potential December crash. Potential June 30th crash. Defunct teams no longer appear in the free agent preview. Interesting. Data changes. All NHL and AHL players at high-level free agencies throughout updated to reflect current season performance. So basically, they've updated personal stuff for this year. So this is all this year's stats. From the looks of it. Various miscellaneous changes. WHA award name changes. NHL draft eligibility data corrected. Kowloon Red Star given to Farm Team. Urban of the Chinese League, formerly Farm Team of China Dragons of AHL. Their Farm Team changed to... Okay. So they fixed up some teams. Non-playable transactions in North America Junior Leagues adjusted to fewer players. Junior B Bantam, etc., etc. Top prospects for 2017. Oh, yes. This is a big deal. Obviously, that's for this year. Overall, it looks like a lot of changes. Some miscellaneous. Those were for expansion drafts. Fictional games. The NHL set up real players. Okay. Quick starts are now copy. User created player age 18 or less than 18. His NHL and KHL rights are now set to none. If he's under 16, committed now set to none. If he's under 15, WHL rights will be set to none. Ah, okay, good to know. So it looks like it's pretty good. There's a lot of like fixes and changes and modifications. I'm looking forward to this goaltender thing and the new starter management, as well as the new tactical system. I'm assuming it's save game friendly. I'm hoping it's save game friendly. If it's not, we're gonna have a bit of a problem with our team. With that in mind, if I start a new game, if you see me starting a new game later today, that's because, well, our save game didn't work. So with that in mind, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.